Welcome to the Effervescent podcast, where we embrace a full circle approach to help. And of course, we're going to start with a breath at the beginning with Kinley, and maybe more than one breath. But I always appreciate it because it helps me get centered and ready for the conversation.
Okay, so for this one, let's uncross our legs. If you're sitting, try to put both feet on the ground. Now, if you're driving, just be aware of one foot that's planted and keep your other foot mobile. And then if you're on the couch, that's okay. Just try to feel your weight on the ground, whether that be your body laying on the couch or your feet pressing into the ground. And then if it feels okay, close your eyes. And before we even start the mindful breaths, just breathe how you're already breathing. Now inhale. And as you exhale, think the words free and clear. Let it go. You can even open mouth exhale if you feel like you need that today. Now inhale a little bit deeper, pressing your feet down into the ground or your body down into whatever's holding you up. Open mouth exhale, free and clear, thinking that. Now last breath, your deepest breath. Inhale, press your feet down. Fill the body with new air. Open mouth exhale, thinking the words free and clear. So good. And then keep breathing and go ahead.
Thanks, Kinley. This is an interesting introduction to what I want to talk about today, which is being authentic and sharing who we are, showing up in the way that we want to without ruminating about all the ways that other people are judging us. So I think that's a really funny right now because on the podcast, and especially when we're doing our mindful breaths, I'm always like, what does my mouth look like when I'm breathing out my meditation? Or what is, I always laugh. I think I said this before on the podcast. I laugh in yoga when they say breathe out through your mouth and people are like, and they're so comfortable doing it. And it just feels weird to me. Maybe I'll get to a point that it doesn't. But it's good practice. It's good practice for me. But okay. As I said, I wanted to talk about being authentic. I want to ask you both to start. What does being authentic mean to you? There's so many ways to look at that word, I think.
I don't have anything.
Okay, I have thoughts. And I think I actually already said this on the podcast, but didn't I talk about that random rabbi from like Texas?
Let me
just say it.
I don't think so. Go ahead.
Okay. So I teach classes on chakras, and your third chakra is your ego identity, which is your authenticity. And one time when I was teaching third chakra about ego and how ego's not a bad thing, it's like our individuality, really. And someone was like, yeah, Rabbi so-and-so from this church in Texas said, now I'm like, do I even remember the quote that the rabbi said? He said, like, wholeness is not taking up, it's taking up not too much space and not too little space. It's like taking up just enough space. And to me, I feel like being authentic is not taking up too much space, but not taking up too little space. It's just being so focused inward on how I feel and how I'm walking through life, and less focused on how other people are seeing me walk through life.
Cool. I love that. Do you have something, Brighton, or you can let it?
Yeah, I actually had a thought to this thought as well, as I can answer your question. But what's kind of interesting about that? You say being so focused on yourself that you're not focused on others. But I think for me, sometimes when I'm overthinking and stuff, it's almost as if I'm too focused on myself, that then I'm not just letting myself be authentic. Because does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I also understand what you're saying with being inward and knowing who you are to be authentic. But it was just like a weird thought.
It's interesting because I totally experience both. And I think I just naturally err on the side of focusing so much on other people that, to me, my practice is to focus on me, but maybe yours is opposite. Like, you're focusing on what you're doing all day long, so your focus is the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends, but that's true. Authenticity to me, I guess I could try do a definition, but what I would want to do instead is I think about this girl, which I wonder if she would ever watch the podcast. I went to junior high with her, haven't seen her in literally like 7-8 years or something. Her name is Rebecca, and anyone who went to junior high with her, just knows that she was fully herself, and people loved her for it. She just like, I remember one time she walked into school and she literally got a perm that turned it into like a fro like Bob Ross. And I loved it. And she just walked in randomly and she was like, "This is my hair." Like she just like was beaming ear to ear, and she was like always, not in a bad way, like so loud and bubbly and happy, and just like everybody knew it was her. Like she is Rebecca, and like she just marched to the beat of her own drum. And I actually made a TikTok probably like a year or two ago where I said, in high school, when you're in high school, you look at the cool kids and you want to be like them, and you try and emulate them or whatever, right? And it's just like they are cool for whatever reason. But then I sit here and I think like the coolest people I actually knew in high school were the people that marched to the beat of their own drum and didn't follow any trend.
Yes.
Had true friendships because like they vibed with that person, like it, and they just were so them.
This is why I hung out with the special needs kids only in high school, because I'm like, they get it.
Yeah.
They are not focused on the cool thing to do or to wear. Like, they're just themselves. And it's like,
It's so
that's
true.
what life's meant to be. Yeah.
I love that. I love your definitions. It reminds me of a quote I think I saw on Pinterest forever ago that's like, "Be yourself, everybody else is taken." You know, and it's so simple, but it's like, how often do we live outside of ourselves? What do other people think? What are they going to wear? What are they going to say? You know, and it takes up so much energy that can be replaced back into our own lives, right? In a sport sense, I like to think about it that like I love Simone Biles. She's like my ultimate cool chick rocker athlete. That's, you know, the most decorated gymnast in the history of time.
She might be the most decorated athlete
right
in the history of time.
Ridiculously awesome. Whenever I get a chance to bring her into my papers and write about her, I always will talk about Simone because she's just so cool. But at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021, I love how, and she's known for this, right? One of the many things she's known for. But I pulled up the quote that she said there when she decided that she was not going to compete because she was having what is called the twisties, I think is what they call it, when your brain gets kind of mixed up with how you are in space in the air, which scary when you're flying as high as she does, right? But she said, "We're human too. We have to protect our mind and our body, not just go out and do what the world wants us to do." And I love that. When I was researching a little bit about it, I loved how it says that also self-determination theory is all about having the autonomy and the ability to make choices that are aligned with our values and our belief, and that raises high performance. So
Self-determination theory,
basically determining who am I, what do I believe? And the more that you know that and you're authentic to what you believe, the more high performing you can be. Simone Biles knew, this is who I am, this is what I need. And if I honor that, then I will be able to come back stronger, whatever that looks like. So I love that example from her. And so I wanted to challenge you as well as myself, and I honestly do not even think about what I'm going to share ahead of time. Maybe I should more, but what is something that you ruminate about? And if you took that same energy that was going into that rumination and placed it on just the action of changing something or focusing elsewhere, what would it be? You don't have to share if it's just like, I can't think of something that's not too personal, but if you think of something, I think it'd be cool to hear.
Well, I thought of something that I don't want to share.
Okay, Brighton.
So I'm like, oh crap, we're sharing. Okay. But also this is the listener too, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So say the question again.
What is something that you ruminate about? So like if you, to bring it even closer, what is something that you are thinking, you're wondering what other people are thinking about you.
Yeah.
Instead of just thinking about the things that you want to do, you're
It's
thinking,
like the choice. Like,
what's this person might be thinking. So in this scenario, we're on the podcast. Oftentimes I go home and I said, how did I say that? Did I mean it the way I said it? Did it come across the right way? And I can get ruminating like what everybody out there, all 5 listeners are thinking about me, versus, well, I showed up, I gave it my all, and I acknowledge that I do care. But what am I doing with that energy? I acknowledge I care, but am I going to get stuck in that? Have you heard of FOPO, fear of what other people think? Or no, I'm saying it wrong.
it's like FOMO, but
FOMO,
just
but like what other people observe
Opinions?
or something. Opinions. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's kind of it. Are you placing all of your energy there instead of something that you can control?
I have a thought to answer about the rumination thing that kind of just came to my mind. And it's funny because I'm literally wearing a hoodie. So when I do, whether it's my own YouTube, whatever, or this, I ruminate about like what to wear. And I think about like, oh, well, I really like hoodies and like sportswear or like streetwear-esque style. And I like putting my hair in braids, whatever. And I sit there and I'm like, oh, well, is a hoodie not nice enough? Because then people aren't going to take me seriously when I'm talking about important topics. Do I need to wear, at the desk that I have for my YouTube channel, like, do I need to wear something nicer? Because then if I want to do an interview with someone renowned one day, what if they see me in a hoodie and then they're going to think, oh, she's not someone to talk to? Like, isn't that funny? But that's exactly what I think if I like name it.
If I were to watch a podcast and see the host in a hoodie, I'd be like, damn, she's confident. Like, she doesn't feel like she has to put on a show. She's just like, I'm here, I have this podcast, and this is me. Like,
what's that song where the guy sings about signed my new house loan with my hoodie on? With my hoodie on. It's like a really cool kind of
That's true. There is like
he's totally talking about.
Whitney showed us this song. Oh my god.
Well, maybe that too. No,
she would.
Our sister showed us this song. That's a tongue twister. Yeah, that's called like with my hoodie on.
With my hoodie on.
That's really funny.
Oh yeah.
And he's talking literally about all the cool things that he does with his hoodie on.
Yeah.
Check the show notes. Just
Yeah, but to bring it back to that thought as well, as you were saying that, I thought about what's really funny? You think about all of like the billionaires or even like millionaires that I've met in my own personal life. You want to know what they wear most of the time? Whatever the hell they want to wear.
Exactly.
And it's the same outfit every day because it's one less decision to make.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's actually something I've noticed too. I like got rid of a lot of my clothes, and Preston and I, my husband and I, were thinking about this, and we were like, we really do spend so much time thinking about what to wear instead of like what we're doing in the day. Like, we should just have like 5 of our favorite t-shirts of the same style but different colors, and then like our favorite pants, same style, different colors, and just like go on. And we did have that realization, like, oh, because we people he works with, right, they're very successful, okay, and they wear the same things every single day without fail, and it looks good on them and whatever. And I think they've just like found their thing. And that's
but to be fair, is that more dudes? Because I think the ladies have a little bit more, in my experience anyway.
It's true.
I have successful lady friends, and it's almost like a thing of self-expression. So they still wear whatever the hell they want, but it's more in the way of like, if I'm going to dress like 60s today, I'm going to. Our friend Mary Crafts, if I'm going to wear a different color wig every single day, I'm going to. Yeah. It's that confidence.
Still authentic,
but
though.
It's authentic
it comes
to
down
whatever
to
they want.
Intention.
Yeah, intention.
Like, are you doing it because you should?
Yes.
Or are you doing it because you want to be yourself?
So cool.
Are you doing it, like I said at the beginning, are you looking outward to put on the wig or the outfit? Or are you looking inward? Like, no, this is what I feel like
she
wearing.
is not. She is
I love
expressing herself. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that was the thought, though, of just, I'm like, oh, what are these cool people that I want on my podcast or want on my YouTube channel, like, gonna think of me if I wear something not nice enough? So,
yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's good.
Something I ruminate on? Okay.
Ruminating in wondering what other people are thinking, not necessarily just rumination.
Okay, I would say how I say things. I have the purest intentions. I think most people do. And I'll get so worried about, like, I hope that my love shone, came through with what I said, not like, but it also could be a way of fearing other people's opinion more than anything, of like, oh, they're not going to like me because, or oh, they're going to judge me because. And it's like, my most authentic self is speaking freely and with love. And I feel like I married Cameron, and he is like the ultimate example of this to me and the world. Like, he says the worst things with so much love, and it's with so much love. And so it's like, wow.
Is
like,
it the worst or the most, like, he's just honest?
Yeah.
both.
Okay. So funny.
Meaning, like, it's so funny. I always laugh because in my previous marriage, he said all the right things. He said everything right. Like, I'm not doing this and whatever. He said all the right things. And he was doing all the wrong things, like doing the opposite. Where Cam is like, well, yeah, this, or yeah, I don't like that. Like, he will just say his thoughts, but he is honest and authentic, and that shines through more than any phrase or any word. Like, his heart is so in every word that comes out that it's like, wow, that was the worst way to say that, but I know that you're trying to say this. Like, I know that you really care. And then he's like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, you know?
And at the end of the day, you would probably rather have a partner that just says
Totally.
what they think than...
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I will ruminate on, like, did that come out how I wanted it to? Or should I say it like this? Oh, I have to respond to this text, and I want it to be, and it's like, or just talk and live from my heart and let go of the rest.
Yeah. And people will
And they'll know.
misinterpret. I mean, they'll know, but they'll also, like, nobody's going to always understand, like, what you meant by something, because that's just humans and communication.
It's so true. Yeah, I, like, hyper fixate on it. That's what I ruminate on.
Okay, here's mine. And I hate that I asked this question because now I'm answering my question.
And everyone that's listening to this, we expect a confession in the comments.
Yeah. Dang, I did not. I mean, knew I was going to push you a little bit, but now I didn't think about what I was going to share. And this is just the first thing that came to mind. I'm going to say it. And because my whole point is to say what I worry what other people are going to think. So here we go. Over my time in my life, I've been where I've had needed help in the community with food, money, assistance in different ways just to support my family and to be safe, even help like with money for both Kinley and Whitney. Like, we didn't have enough money to pay for their births. Like, and I felt a lot of judgment, and I wondered how everybody else felt about me. Like, I remember standing in the line checking out with food stamps, and the guy behind me saying, "Oh, would you just go faster?" Because the lady had to type it in. I think now they have credit cards. It's not as hard, but the judgment and my thoughts about what everybody were thinking about me when I was getting my WIC checks for cheese and milk and things like that were crushing, because, you know, I worried what people thought all the time. And then on the flip side, now I don't need help like that. I worry about what people think about my financial situation from the flip side, because where I would say we have a good business, and we have amazing teams that run our companies, and I would say successful. Every business is up and down, but I would say it's a good business. There's judgment, and I hear the judgment. That's the thing. I'm not just making up these things, but there's judgment about other people saying, oh, well, they make too much money, or they can do this, this, and this. They don't understand me because they don't understand going through hard things because they have money, or they have a resource to solve that problem because they have the money, which is true. Money can be a tool to help solve problems. And some of the wealthiest in money people I know have some of the biggest problems I know.
Yeah.
So I think about this a lot because I don't want to make people feel bad. So, like, I work in the community a lot, and I have curriculum that teaches families and everything, and I show up, and I worry about what they're thinking about me because they're like, well, she doesn't understand my situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
that's something, and I think everyone relates to that.
Yeah, it's something I think about a lot that I want to be aware of. It's important to be aware of, but how much energy am I placing in other people's thoughts about it?
Because at the end of the day, like, if you're successful in anything in life, like, people just don't like that sometimes, you
It's
know, and it's
projection.
projection. And yeah, I think whether it's money or status or anything, like there's always going to be people that don't like it.
Or the outfit you wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
But
everyone's projecting their own pain.
So what do we do with that? Okay, so we just placed 3 things on the table, and I hope people listening are also specifically thinking about what are some things that I let spin in there. There are other people's thoughts that you think are other people's thoughts. Have you ever heard that quote where people say, "Who's living in your brain for rent free?"
Yeah,
I'm not saying it the right way,
Yeah.
but it's like we're giving them
Yeah.
so much space in our most intimate, important part of our body. Well, I guess there's a lot of important parts of our body, but like our thoughts, you know.
Yeah.
The other way I've heard people say is like, who is sitting at your boardroom table that you did not invite to be there?
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, like who are these people sitting around giving you, and you hear all of their opinions and thoughts about the decisions you're making, but you didn't ask them to be there, but you're letting them be
This
there.
is honestly like such a good question. I think we all should like sit with whose voice are you hearing? Like there's someone in your brain that's not you that's saying that thing. So is it like Victoria's Secret? Is it your parents? Is it your sibling? Is it that teacher in school? Like who is that voice that is actually saying the sentence that you're telling yourself is your voice?
Yeah, I love that. And what do we do about it?
And what do we do about it? Yeah.
So go ahead, Brighton.
I mean, obviously, all of this is easier said than done to just be authentic, you know? But I think one of the things that helps me the most is, well, there's 2 things. One is having the vision for what you want, right? And we've talked about this in other episodes, but also having a why that's bigger than yourself, that's stronger than anything else. Because when oh my gosh, did you say you were going to cry last episode? Because
I said I better not cry in this episode because I always cry.
yes, that's how I feel right now. But when I sit here and I think about like all those things of like, what am I going to wear? And if that's going to attract the right people, whatever I think about, I sit there and I'm like, okay, but why am I doing this? Like, why am I sharing my beliefs on health and these things? It's because like I want to help people with stuff I've struggled with. And that matters more than anything anyone could ever say. But this like emotion that you feel, and the listener, if you like feel emotion about something that you want to do, it's like that can get buried when you start looking outside of yourself. And so then like I will bury this emotion of like, well, no, I need to think about all these other things and why I can't do what I want to do. But I think it's allowing yourself to like have that emotion come out and that intentionality and the why behind. Because have you ever heard of the quote that says, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say it right. It's like,
I didn't say mine right either.
if you have a strong enough why, you can bear any how, or something like that.
Cool.
Or the how, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, we
That
get the
makes
point. Yeah.
Leave it
Okay.
at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I just made a new quote.
By Brighton. I love that.
Oh my gosh, my brain is a million places. Am I answering a question? Because I'm just thinking.
I'm answering a question right now. Are you worried about what I'm thinking about you? Just kidding.
It's just wild how much we care.
I was
about
asking,
what
what do you,
What do you do about
it when you find yourself in that place of putting all of your energy into what other people are thinking about you?
Like
or
what
you
do I
think they're
actually
thinking.
do? What was my
What is a tip?
Like
problem?
advice, basically.
What was the problem I shared at the beginning? Thinking about
How you say things that you
how I say
hope that
things.
they hear your intention and not maybe the way you said it exactly.
what I do as an actionable is I try to live a disclaimer-free life. I try really hard to speak and then trust that there's so much more at play, and how I said it was how it needed to be said. Because as I teach in my classes, like, oh my gosh, that's scary. And I'm triggering people like with their traumas, and it's so scary just to like speak. But I've really, really worked on, I don't need to give a disclaimer. I don't need to over explain. I'm going to speak from my heart, not my ego and not my head, but like my heart, and trust and just let go. trust that it's going to come through how it was needed to come through, even if it triggers someone, even if someone hates how it was said, because that might just be the very thing that sets them on a journey of discovering more about themselves, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
One thing that has helped me, that I did it on accident, is you both were young, and all my girls, 6 girls and 1 boy, you know, it's like as they were, all these girls originally before Jordan came were growing up. I remember before you went to school all the time saying, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Go be yourself, and you're awesome just the way you are, or some version of that. And what's the quote by Dr. Seuss? I literally have had in the house for like 20 years. Let's see. What? Oh, I'm going to hack it. And I love the quote. Those who mind don't matter, and that those who matter don't mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Be who you are,
be who you are, and say what you feel, because
those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't
Thank you. I love that so much. And I would share that sentiment with my kids so much growing up that I started to believe it myself. And I've always valued people that live very authentically and very unique. I love watching people's passions, and even if they're quirky or odd, I don't even care what their passions are. I just love a passionate person. Yeah. And so I've been attracted to that and tried to be that way myself. But when I was remembering to remind my kids that every single day or every day I could, that actually was reprogramming how my own brain thought about showing up and being myself. And so in a way, I was doing what performance psychology tells you to do, which is, you know, rewrite that neural pathway of like, I worry about this. They're going to think this. They're going to think this. I changed it to, don't worry, girls, like show up who you are. And that's the most beautiful thing, or whatever.
You reframed it.
I reframed it. And
that's huge.
And it worked. I mean, part of it is age. I would say that's one thing that's the most beautiful about aging, is that if you allow it, you see the beauty and difference and authentic ways of showing up in all different ways. And you feel more free. I think I see some people go exactly opposite, where they feel maybe more safe in the known, and maybe some judgments can come out. That's also an option. But that's the way that I think I practiced that without realizing I was.
I think I wanted to touch on too, because we were talking about this off camera a little bit, is like, if the listener, us here, right? Like, we want to do big things in this world and be successful in whatever way, you know, you deem success. And I always, which love him or hate him, okay? I always think about people like Elon Musk, okay?
Or Joe Rogan.
Like, those people have done incredible things you can't deny, okay? Shooting a rocket into literal space, or building the car that, you know, transformed electric cars. It's like, he didn't get there by, one, listening to maybe opinions of experts to build the things, but like Elon Musk didn't get there by thinking about what everyone else was thinking, what was impossible, right? When it came to like landing the rocket within like the tong things that it caught, okay? Or whatever it was. Like, I'm sure there was 50,000 people that told him, one, he was weird or different, or he shouldn't work so hard on this thing that's impossible, or whatever. And when you look at like hyper successful people, and maybe you don't want to like be a billionaire, I'm fine like not being that, but I think about people like that and I'm like, they are all very much odd in a great way.
Eccentric. I love
in
that.
their
Authentic,
way.
yeah.
Authentic.
Mm-hmm.
It's their, and I can't see any other way that you can be successful. What's the other word? Just like, yeah, be successful when you are looking to the average. Does that make sense?
When you're looking to other people for how to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could even look successful, and you might be successful, but you're kind of miserable on the inside, right? If you're living in a way that it's like, I think I need to be this way, I think I need to do this, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? You might find some level of success and even look confident, but are you peaceful on the inside?
How solid is it too?
I would say probably not feeling very peaceful on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if one rock was removed from that facade, are you going to crumble because you don't actually have a foundation of like, this is who I am, love it or hate it?
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe not all, exactly, hyper successful people like have what we deem is authenticity, but I would like to think that, again, like high performers, a big percentage of them, it comes from them. Authentic.
Well, think about Michael Jordan. I mean, if he gets up to the free throw line and he's making his shots over and over and over again, and if he's only worried about what everybody's thinking in the stands and the scoreboard and people cheering and everybody, I mean, all of that
Legit,
energy.
though. I could not imagine doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Throw and it goes to the ground because I'm like gripping it so hard.
Yeah, we're not really a basketball family, but in this
really not.
scenario, an example, we're imagining to be such. And, imagine all of his thoughts were on what everybody's thinking on the TV and in the stands. Like, how much energy is he going to have for the actual shot?
It's so true.
Not very much energy. And it raises our cortisol levels to be like, what are they thinking and the stress? But the really successful athletes are able to pull it in and shut that out so that you are focusing, you're present, and you're able to execute the thing that you've been practicing over and over and over again.
It's really cool because this is just so cool that if you really think of the metaphor of like a basketball player, the stands are full. There's people smacking things. Like there's so much chaos, so much opinions, people yelling, throwing things. Like it's literally insane. Telling them to miss. And they have the ability to go so inward that they're like, there's nothing that matters more than me being present with my goal.
I love it. I mean, that's why I love studying this, because it's
so cool.
It's amazing to see all the examples and the ways that people are out to get them, right? Or even some judgments like subjective. Gymnastics can be like, well, I think this, and it's there's so many outside forces. And so studying the way that these people are able to block it all out.
Yeah.
That is high performance.
Yeah.
You know what I think too?
Yeah.
I also, as you were talking about that, I was visualizing like that's kind of how I view the internet. Like when I've had videos go viral on TikTok and whatever, and tens of thousands of comments, it really is. It's everyone smacking or saying comments or hate comments or making reaction videos of what you said, and like you can let that sway you, and then you will. Like I noticed the next video I posted, I was scared to like even talk or say a word because it was so many other opinions. But it's like you got to just keep posting and saying
hold your
what
power.
You feel. Yeah.
There's a quote that says, I usually teach this when I teach third chakra, which I already talked about, but it says, people can't take your power unless you give it to them. Like the goal is to keep that energy in, not give it to the haters or give it to the enemy and be like, oh, they told me. It's just like we're losing ourselves in the process.
And if we're not sharing ourselves, our authentic selves, like we talked about last week on the podcast, is AI just going to be how everybody feels about everything? We're not even going to dare to share a controversial thought or perspective because we're going to be judged. Now, I have to admit, there's times when I'm like, I could be super engaging and have videos that go big and build my brand voice and all of this that I probably should be doing right now because I'll have books that I'll be releasing, and I should be doing that if I'm going to market what I'm selling or my book or whatever. And I think what's the reaction going to be? And I do let it stop me. So what are we letting stop us from our biggest why or our goal or our desires? And Brighton, like you said, if your why is big enough, I love that, then that's going to trump no matter who's going to say what from who knows where on the internet.
I've honestly been sitting with this a lot, and maybe you guys can help me through it on the podcast. For a long time I had a why, and it was I am showing up in my classes and I'm helping people through betrayal trauma because that's what I went through, right? And it was my why. Like, it drove everything. And now I'm at a place where I'm like, I want to help people a lot. That's my passion. I want to help them through just life, but I don't necessarily want to live in the energy of only the hardship. And I feel like I've kind of lost a why. And that's very vulnerable to even say on the podcast because it's like, of course I want to help people, but the why has shifted. And I'm in this like liminal space of, my why before was help them through their trauma in the moment. And now I've been sitting with what is my new why, because I do feel like it shifts.
Yeah, I kind of think I'm at the exact same point as you though.
Okay.
Like I know I want to help people because I've hurt in these ways and that pushes me forward. And yet, yeah, I don't
And
know
there's
exactly
something in me
what it
that's
is.
like, yeah, there's something that's like, I mean, my teacher, Soraya, she's so sweet. Once I told her, all I want to do is teach chakras to women. And she said, Kinley, when you get there, you're going to want something more. And I said, nope. And here I am. It's like, I have taught for years. I've helped so many people, and I want my work. That's why it's online, to keep helping people. And I feel like there's this push in me that's like, and there's more now.
Yeah.
Like, as you walk, the next step appears, but I'm like, I just feel stuck with my why. And I guess that's kind of what I'm sitting with, is like, sounds all dandy to have a why, but what if you don't know what the why is?
Well, and it's interesting to even hear you say this because we've talked about it.
Have we?
Yes. And I feel like you've told me your why of your next steps. So I wonder if you are second guessing, you know, the direction, or if it's maybe not quite right yet. You're still trying to figure it out. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But one of the most beautiful, I think, and challenging things in life is to watch other people live authentically and then to watch them change, because this is their next step. And you're like, well, wait, you were this person. And I understood you when you were this person. And we related with each other in this way when you were this person. But we're meant to change and we're meant to grow, and the goalposts move. And so what do we do when that happens so that we're honoring the people that we're around and we're loving them for who they are now? It's not for us to stop other people and say, no, but you're this person. It's in my opinion, our job, or we get to I guess, be aware of how the people we love are shifting and see how we can show up for them in the place that they are at the time.
I have a thought too, because I've been thinking about this same thing so much, and I'm thinking about the listener too as well, because I'm sure that in some way, shape, or form, you're trying to figure out the why in your life of what you're trying to build. But this is kind of in regards to like what we're up to. So there's this saying in, I guess, like when you're creating at least content, or you're like in the business of helping people, and it says help your past self. And that's the person you're most equipped to help is a past version of you, right? But as you learn and grow, and as you age, your past self is different now.
That goalpost also moves. That's really interesting.
Also moves, yeah. So it's like, for me, I used to only want to talk about fitness, and I was so interested. Yeah. And now, at least for me, and this is me and what I've struggled with, is now I realize, something I really struggled with, also struggle with still, is disconnection in the age of like technology. So I've been learning a lot about that, and also like feeling lost all the time and not knowing what I'm doing because I'm in my 20s and I'm so confused. Anyways, what I'm saying is now my why not really has shifted, because I'm still helping, but it's like now I kind of want to move it forward a little.
Go, Kinley, we're ready.
No, I can't talk when I cry, but I said I'm gonna cry in this episode. I feel like that is like such good advice. Okay. I can talk. I feel like that's so huge, because it's so funny, because when we were in Costa Rica, my mom came to Costa Rica this last retreat, and at the very end we say our wish for everyone, and my wish was, the whole theme of the retreat is the birth, life, death, rebirth cycle. And my wish was that we would keep dying and letting go of parts of ourselves and not get stuck in the version that we have now come to love, even though they feel so good when they're there and they're like, oh my gosh. And my wish for them is that you grow beyond this. And I feel like that's exactly basically what you're saying, is for so long I've wanted to help people in the way that I've known, but I have let that goalpost not move, even though I keep expanding as a human, where if I can move that goalpost up and be like, okay, now what did Kinley need when she really did start to heal? And then it's like, no one out there is talking about after healing. It's like a money grab almost, of like, no, you have more to heal. There's more to dig up. And I just through my own living have experienced, like, there comes a time when you gotta stop digging up the crap. Like, truly.
Absolutely.
And it's not spiritual bypassing. It's not emotional bypassing.
Yeah.
Like, there is a time when the best thing you can do is go and have fun. And that's what I want to share with people. But I just kept my goalpost back in that
Mm-hmm.
that pain, almost because I worry about what people will think of, like, I have lived through something hard. Let me rehash the story from 6 years ago just to tell you that, like, hey, I
Yeah.
have been through hard things, because I'm so worried that they're going to judge me, that I'm saying you can heal through joy, and other people are like, no, you can't, you know?
Yeah, and the most powerful example you can give is to watch you heal through joy, because like you said, there's a time and a place that to be the place that you were. And then if this is your next step, this is your authentic next step in your becoming your next version of yourself. People need to see that too. I love that. That's
And
so
I don't
cool.
have anyone telling me that that's what to do, but I feel it from within, and I feel like that's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, thanks.
I love hearing that, because so what I hear both of you saying is that part of being authentic and showing up in an authentic way is to have awareness about our why and where we're going, which is really cool, because we have control over that. We have control over spending time developing our why and understanding our why. We can't control what other people think anyway. So this is just placing it back into our own autonomy and choices to do something about it. So I think it's
Can
really
I give
cool.
advice too?
Yeah.
I love that, like, I ask for advice, but I also have advice.
Same.
You're like, save. If you don't know what your why is, because I shared my story, but not everybody is shifting their why. They might be like, I just don't freaking know what my why is. And one time I heard the question, if I weren't afraid, I would blank. And what is your initial answer to that? If I weren't afraid, I would.
Literally, that's what I was gonna say.
Really?
And you did that on the podcast when you were talking. I said your question. That's,
Yeah,
that's
true.
literally the question I was going to ask to the listeners.
wow.
Is what you just said.
Okay.
If you were not ruminating and afraid about what everybody else was thinking, what would you do? You
Wear
guys
the
can
hoodie.
answer it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Or answer? Or
If
just
you
think?
if you want to, I mean, if something comes to your mind.
I mean, I kind of already said
Yeah.
mine. Like, if I
Yeah.
wasn't afraid, I would travel and tell people that there's life after trauma
There you go.
and be happy about it
There you
instead
go.
of sitting in the deep end.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine is like,
Come with me to Costa Rica. It would be so fun.
Yeah.
I'm just
For
kidding.
real.
It is fun.
I'm just kidding.
no, it is fun though. I think for me, it's like if I weren't afraid, I would just keep using my voice in all the ways that I want to, I guess.
Yeah, no, I love that. I would say for me, it reminds me of the book A Big Leap, where I have this upper limit placement that I've said, you can only reach a certain point, and then there needs to be something wrong because I'm comfortable in that area. If you haven't read the book, is A Big Leap on our list? It should be on our list. We have a free book
Gay
list.
Hendricks, I think, or is it by someone else?
I don't think it's by
Ooh, my bad.
It's the wrong author, and I can't think of who it is right now.
don't know.
Is it?
The Big Leap.
Yeah, The Big Leap. And I recognize that I do that because we function in a certain, I don't know, you say, if you want to say an energy level, like a frequency, you know,
It's true.
we function in this area. And when something goes so good, it's almost more comfortable to be like, but wait, there has to be a problem because I'm used to getting energy from this trauma or this experience or this anger that fueled me, or I'm not fearful anymore of this thing, and I don't have any drive anymore. You know, so what is fueling you, and then also what are you blocking yourself from experiencing because you've reached the highest you think you could ever be, or stay
glass
at this
ceiling.
level. So for me, I would say that does affect me if I were going to have a goal for myself where I've worked so hard for so long to write, you know, these curriculum and trainings and everything with Barbara and Parents Driving Change. And we finally have actually printed our stuff after like 15 years, and people are excited about it, and it's time to go finally sell it. And we're getting great feedback from just a few people we've shared it with that lead organizations that help families. And it's so exciting. I'm almost like, but I can't put myself out there. I don't think I was expected to actually ever make money
for
on
real.
the
I
curriculum
totally
that
get
we've been
that.
working on for 15 years because I've taught myself that I only serve on boards for free and I only do things for free because I feel like I'm blessed enough I shouldn't have to make money, which I don't coach people that way when I coach people.
This is really interesting.
You know, but it's
Yeah.
like, here I am coaching women when I coach executive women, like, put value on yourselves, you know, because if you don't, other people won't. And like, to value yourself, you'll thrive, and, you know, all of these things. And then when it comes to myself, I'm just like, can I charge because these families need help? And, and there's ways around it. I can give scholarships, like we've talked through all these things, if parents find us on their own and they don't have an organization to pay for it, etc. But I've placed an upper limit success on my products and my voice, and I need to release that so that I can release into the world what is my heart to share.
That's actually what I was going to say is for you and for all of us, like the very thing that scares us is the thing that's keeping us where we are, which is like common sense. Like we know it, but if you're able to like label like, oh, that's the thing that's stopping me. If you can clear that, sometimes the leverage too of knowing what life would be like on the other side and just imagining for a second is motivating enough to actually break through that block.
You know what I think, which I'm only saying this because I'm like, maybe the listener thinks this as well. You know what I think kind of stops me from acting a lot is again, it's thinking outside of myself. It's being afraid of other people putting me in a box. So when I post about fitness content, then I'm like, oh, I'm a fitness girl. Or like, let's say the listener, you have some sort of job you go to. Well, you're an accountant. Oh, I'm the accountant person, and that's all I am, and that's the box. So you need to stay in that box. And so then but then like because of that, I don't post fitness content even if I like it. Because then I'm like, but I don't want people to only think I'm in the fitness world. So I don't post it. But then when I post whatever else I want to talk about, but then only people think I'm going to be posting that. So then it's like I want to expand so much that I actually don't get any direction in any place because I'm worried about the thoughts before I even
You're
act
at the
in
starting
any
line.
way.
Yeah. It's like Dyson vacuums. They started, I think, as vacuums, and now they have like one of the best hair curlers.
Such a good point.
Where if they're like, no, we're vacuums, they would have never expanded. That's how I feel as a yoga teacher. It's like,
so interesting.
I'm a yoga teacher, but I'm like, but I want to be so many other things too.
Yeah. Did you know, and I'm taking it way back, but Beethoven actually, he was losing he couldn't hear. So he was losing his ability to hear. And here he was, this famous composer. That's what his whole identity is. And so as he was beginning to play the piano and not be able to hear even what he was doing, he started to go kind of more into like creative sharing so that it looked like he was just feeling the music when he actually could not hear the music. How scary, right? And he was able to reframe his thoughts and kind of find a way to show up and do it anyway authentically for a while. And then eventually when he couldn't hear as well, he started retreat and he went into a very dark place. So I think as we think about these things that can either overtake us, our authenticity, and that ruminating voice, to wrap it up, what is something that you feel like that you can do to fight against that? I'll just start because I'm talking, so I don't even know what I'm going to say once again. So like with my eyesight, I kind of relate with Beethoven. Maybe that's why I was thinking about it, is like, oh, here's this core sense that we use. We have our sight, our vision, and then being able to hear, touch, smell, all these things. He found a way to still keep sharing what he loved as long as he could. My vision, same thing. I'm trying to find a way to share what I can as long as I can. And when I read my children's book that I wrote the words to with Barbara, and I stand up in front of people and I read it and I stutter over my own children's book that I spent thousands of hours writing, that horror of like, oh, I can't see my own words, it can be so debilitating when I let it. So I have to be really consciously replacing that thought of like, it's okay. Like, I know that I put the energy into this book to share the things that I love. And even if I stutter when I read it, my message is being out in the world. So I guess reframing what that same experience looks like with a thought that I have to remind myself. So what about you guys?
I mean, what you shared is so beautiful, Mom.
Thank you.
And I feel like it really comes down to like, are you going to innovate and die, let yourself die in a way and be reborn? Or are you going to stay like, no, this is how it has to look, And I feel like you're queen of being like, all right, we're losing the vision. What do we have to do to see in another way?
Yeah, thanks, Kinley.
Yeah.
I have a something to read, but it is my tip or like ending thought, I swear.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
So This I love. I think it was by a talk, or it's from Theodore Roosevelt. It's from a talk he gave. I can't remember where he gave it, but it's famous. It's called The Man in the Arena. And I don't know if you guys have heard this or not. It's
Wait.
so good. I think LeBron James actually has, I heard on his shoe, The Man in the Arena, which is so funny because that's basketball. We literally just talked about that. But I really want to read it to the listener who maybe hasn't heard this before, but even if you have, I'm sure you love it still. So, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong. Oh my gosh, I'm going to start over. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat.
I love that.
So yeah, I think that's my ending message. I always get chills when I read that still. That's my ending message through authenticity. If you are yourself, yeah, you're going to like fail sometimes and whatever, and people are going to look at you because you are in the arena of life. And I think when you are being fully authentic, you are actually like playing the game of life fully, and there's going to be people on the sidelines looking down at you and maybe wondering, you know, what you're doing in life or why you're acting that way or why you're wearing your hair like that or whatever. But at least you know deep down that you are that person and you are living with authenticity and playing the game of life the way it's supposed to be played.
I love that. I have
Yeah.
nothing else to add.
Yeah, I love that too. And sometimes the people that are like yelling at you to not are the people that are closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two thoughts. Okay. One thought is surround yourself with people who support your authenticity rather than say you should be different than you are. And then my other one is a quote that says, and I don't know who it's from, but credit to them. It says, reveal yourself, because if you don't, others will get it wrong 100% of the time.
Ooh. Wow.
And I love it so much because at the end of the day, all we can do is just, like I said in the beginning, like look inward and just reveal ourselves as we are and let go of the rest.
Love that.
I love it. Words to live by. I literally don't have anything else to say other than thanks for showing up and listening today. And if there's anything you want to share about what we've been talking about today, we would love to hear about it. So
the
messages
comments.
or in the
Yeah.
comments are great. Thank you for all the people that have been messaging us and just giving us energy and excitement to keep going with what we're sharing, because we're trying to show up authentically and sharing our hearts
In the arena.
in the arena with authenticity. So thank you. And we'll talk to you next time.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.